Now, you're welcome back. Our final segment here for Wake Up Nigeria has us with Dr. Maymunah Kadiri. She is a mental health physician, also advocate and coach. She is here to talk about the negative effect of hard drugs on the body and management of addiction. You are welcome, Dr. Maymunah.
Thank you.
Fantastic to have you here. We're having a discussion just from before the show, and I think most of that is going to go in. Now, let's talk about addiction. First off, let's define it and get it out of the way before we go into other things. What is addiction?
So addiction, as the name implies, is not something that is sudden. It's not it's not an event. It's actually a process, and it's kind of linear. It goes through stages. So you find out before somebody gets addicted to whatever, food, yeah, because people just think it's only drugs, right? You have initiation. Then you start experimenting. Initiation is just the first time.
Yeah. Experimenting,
you start using it and, for pleasurable activities or to distress or whatever it is you want to. Then you go into regular usage. Regular usage does not mean that it's every day, but maybe weekend or some other days. Then risky usage, where, you are using it regardless of whatever it is, and then that is even more regular. Then you go into what we call dependency.
Where you can't do without it.
Exactly. And dependency just means that you are increasing the dosage to meet up that initial high that you got before the addiction. And if care is not taken, the last stage is either crisis or treatment. So when people say, I think I'm addicted, maybe you are just a regular user. Maybe you are still at the stage of maybe risky behavior where, risky behavior will come, maybe we start lying or selling things to get, fund your habit or, those kind of things. But when you get to that dependency or the addictive stage, it's not only lying, it's not only selling property, you start having issues with the law. You may have hangover coming to work almost more frequently than when it was experimenting or the regular usage. So addiction is, and when it comes to drug, it's a chronic mental illness.
Yeah.
It's not just a fancy word of, I'm addicted. No, it's not fancy. It's a chronic mental illness.
This is mostly habit. It starts from initiation, like you said, and then it becomes a part of you. Now, habits are one of the hardest things to break. I can tell you from personal experience that once you start something, even if it's seen as harmless, it sometimes is just the motions that you're looking forward to that actually brings you pleasure. Like cigarette smokers will tell you that simply having something, a pen in between their hands gives them pleasure and all of that. How can one break such a habit that you perhaps had for many years?
It takes time.
How easy is it?
It takes time. It takes a minimum of 21 days to form a habit. And it can be for years. So before you say you want to break a habit, it has to be coming from you. It's that mindset. So even when you see people that are addicted to drugs, you find people that come willingly and say, I want to rehabilitate. And some, they will have to be forced, military, soldier, whatever, to bring them and force them. So breaking a habit has to come from that individual saying, I want to. So even if you are forced, it then means that you have to go through the stages of breaking that. It doesn't come as easy as, I want to get off this thing, I get off this thing. So I give a typical example for any drug addiction, and you are coming in. Most times it starts with medical detoxification.
What is that exactly? How does that work?
Where you want to get rid of the substance in the body in a safe environment. Because the person has been trying, most likely, he or she trying to get out of this substance, and he has very bad side effects, like withdrawal symptoms, and the easiest way to curb that is to go back to the substance again. So when they go into a rehab for medical detoxification, they are being chemically treated. So they would be ingesting
ingesting chemicals to help them get rid of those
medications that would get them. So that's why it's called a medically assisted.
But once you get that out of them, then there's that need to get back
They'll manage your withdrawal symptoms.
So I've heard instances where they are given some of these substances that they're addicted to in small doses to kind of like...
That's harm reduction.
Okay.
Harm reduction just means that you are reducing. So for example, you start like 5 cigarettes per day, or you're taking 2 packs per day of cigarettes. You gradually start reducing the number of cigarettes, and with time, it will be maybe 1 or half or gradually, and it takes time.
Yeah, it does.
So harm reduction, yes, it's also good, but the truth is that when it comes to substance abuse, what are you abusing? What mode are you abusing this substance? And how much are you taking in? What your personality trait? Because the thing is that some people, they come for the rehabilitation. Their personality is that type that, look, I want to be that. I don't care whatever is going to happen to me and all that. So personality also comes in. And what kind of care are you looking into? So all that come into play. Because when I talked about medically assisted detoxification, that is not the only thing. We have a lot of therapies that can help the individual. Cognitive behavioral therapy, where you recognize your unhealthy behaviors, where you will be able to cope with skills that can help you. Rational emotive behavioral therapy, those ones will help you, rationalize things better.
There are two subjects I want to move on to real quick, and I'm hoping that we have plenty of time. First of all, you talked about cigarettes. They're one of the hardest things to quit in any case. But then there's that debate out on cannabis. Now, if cannabis is medical, if cannabis is bad for you, obviously it is. But that debate, where do you stand on that?
So the thing is that being an expert in this field, we see a whole lot with regards to should cannabis be either legalized, because that is even a big issue right now, where there are people that are pushing, or we should just look at it the way we see alcohol and cigarette. Given the part of the world we are in, I would sit down here and say, in Nigeria, I would not support legalizing it now. Maybe in the future or something, if things change, but legalizing it now will cause more harm. Because with the COVID-19, there was an exponential usage of different type of drugs, and cannabis is also one of the top 3.
And it's
so
easily...
It's affordable, it's available, it's accessible. So legalizing it is just going to just mess up this. So there's a medical aspect of usage of marijuana. But the addictive substance in marijuana is 9-tetrahydrocannabinoid, which is very addictive. So you can't say, I can't sit down and say marijuana doesn't have medical usage. It has for pain, especially for palliative care, end-stage illnesses. And I'm sure people will also be listening. Or what about the liquid one they sell and all that? Most of those ones have been ripped of all the addictive substances. Yeah, so they can be used medically. So let us not confuse, the marijuana and the one that people is being sold and being, supported.
So I've got another debate for you here. Now, as a psychologist, I need an answer to this one. Now, let's move away from drugs and talk about another kind of addiction. And let's talk about the addiction where one is addicted to self-gratification, sexual self-gratification. You understand what I'm saying? Now, is that a bad thing? 1. 2, how can one actually stop such a thing?
Addiction in any form is bad. Whether it is food, whether it is sex, whether it is drug, addiction is addiction, like what I said in those stages that before you get into addiction is bad, because the moment you get addicted to something, you are chasing the high, it's affecting your activities of daily living, legal issues will come in, it starts affecting your interpersonal relationship with people, productivity will also be affected. Yes, can you get out of it? Most mental health disorders, just like physical health issues, are treatable, manageable, and beatable. So the first thing is, do you have the right mindset that I want to quit this? It's easier. It's like 50% to the our expert team of experts managing you. When you come and say, I think I've gotten to this point and I want to get out of it. It's different from somebody that doesn't see any reason for quitting anything of addiction, and it has to be forced. So do people come to you based on that? Say, hey, I do this and I want to end it. Yeah, we have a rehabilitation center.
For that? Yeah. You're kidding me. For real?
People come in for all manner of things.
What's the process then?
The process is, first thing, you coming in willingly. That's the process. Another one is somebody referring you. Another one is going to our website and say, oh, I think these people are here.
So what do you do to them?
It's a team. It's a team of mental experts, psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatric nurses, occupational therapists, social worker. It's a whole team of people managing you. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And of course, we have to know even your background. Is this a hereditary thing and so many other factors?
So real quick and finally, so just so people have an idea of, regardless the addiction that they are into, just so they have an idea of what this process is like and how agreeable it is, could you give them, could you encourage people on what happens and how they should take on their new lease?
The thing with addiction is why it is bad is because it affects you as a human being, affects your relationship, affects your productivity, and a lot, whether your spiritual life and physical, it affects others. So what I would hope is that most mental conditions are treatable. So for you out there, if you are dealing with any addiction, it's good for you to come to that recognition that this is affecting me, money-wise, financially, spiritually, and all that, and seek for help. Help is available, and getting the right set of people is also available.
Wow, okay, that's very encouraging. Thank you very much, Dr. Maymunah. It's very good to have you here.